Bite my tongue? Never. See, what they don't know is they're tuning in to DBYT podcast, and I'm just discovering the world around me.
Tyesha, I love you.
I feel like God is telling you to keep going.
You quit on yourself, you really down bad.
Tune in Wednesdays at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. Okay, what's up, everybody? You're tuning in to DBYT podcast with your host Tyesha, and today I'm going to be telling you about my experience being a Black woman in so many words. So I just want to jump right into it. Why is it important to learn about different experiences from different people? I just like to let people know that a lot of things that happen to you, like, they happen to other people as well. Like, we have more in common than we do differences, but we don't normally take the time out to explore those differences. So even though two people may come from a similar place, similar background and everything like that, it doesn't really mean that they've shared the exact same experience, as you may or may not know. So today I am going to be sharing a spoken word, a poem, if you will, just to let you know, in my 2 decades and some odd years after, what I've experienced, how it made me feel, and how it really kind of shaped me into the person that I am. So yeah, we're gonna do that today. Okay, so I named this poem Shades of Colorism because within a Black community, we separate ourselves so much that it's hard to belong, for at least for me. Sometimes I don't feel welcome by my own people, and I feel weird about it. But the poem's gonna tell you what you need to know. So let's get into it. Light skin, pretty teeth, perfect 10. Looking from the outside, no one usually cares what she has within. Living this life sometimes can be a challenge. She can't choose just one path. She has too much talent. You're so bright. Look at your height. Girl, you seem like you my type. You sure your daddy ain't white? I just don't understand why you're so light. But when I talk to you, you have me as high as a kite. Even though you're light skinned, you could be somebody that I like. All these comments be getting me slick tight. Oh, you bougie, stuck up and shallow. Makes me want to hit you in your throat and make it hard to swallow. It's a shady area being a part of a community that compares trauma like it's a competition. The seeds of intersectional discrimination was planted when they took her from her bed in the nighttime and forced her to lay there. Looked in her eyes, took her innocence, and penetrated her until she was unconscious. 9 months later, another house slave, a slave nonetheless. Don't think that just because we weren't in the same place that my hurt wasn't just as disgusting as yours. They still made me feel just as worthy as the dirt. Light skin, curly hair, full lips. My ancestors forgot to give me full hips, but it's okay though. I love them for sure. They the reason I'm here, and that's love overflow. It's actually pretty crazy when you think about it. My people always yelling about this country's division, but to be honest, we ain't no different. Light skin, brown skin, dark skin, why are we still being put into boxes similar to when our people were being brought over here? Now, isn't that ironic? I plan to bring us all together, blur the lines, then they'll see that I'm really just that iconic. I'm not going to sit here and pretend to be somebody that I'm not. Being around 10 or 11 felt like heaven. I would try some things just to see if I fit in. Similar to actresses, I see myself acting in and out of character just to have a friend. I was only a kid. Do you comprehend? Or do I need to come again? I'd belittle my intellect just to be the one that they select. I was smart as hell, and they wasn't feeling that too well. I hid in plain sight, a master of disguise, all because of those around me otherwise would despise. Those other girls didn't like me, but I saw them as my sisters. Those boys my age looked over me. They didn't want to be my mister. Preconceived notions of what it all meant. You're not the only one who got bullied for the way that you look. Family broke me down and took. All the love that I had inside, they made me feel like I was going out of my mind. I'd always try to fix myself for the way that they made me feel. They were sick and I was ill. Yeah, I know I'm probably giving you chills, and even after that, I have to kill. That hate festered and had me scared to speak my truth, not wanting confrontation from everyone around me. They would make it seem like my story had no weight compared to theirs and would continue to minimize mine. We have it worse. You don't understand. You're barely black. Look at you, just white. I knew they weren't right, but what do you do when it's a trauma war in your own backyard? We're supposed to be one. Genetics did this, and the same way they say the whites made them feel inferior and ugly, they turn around and do it to their own. With the disagreements and the secrets, no one can have a chance to say who won. One day I spoke up, looked left then right, got put down, laughed at and clowned. They chewed me up and spat me out. Was I wrong for standing up for how I saw the world through my light brown eyes? Picked on for my lips, my teeth, and my collarbones. Now they bleaching their skin to fit my tone. I never cared about what I looked like on the outside. I knew it didn't matter. I had to learn quick that some people are going to look at me and automatically think, yeah, she's a bright-skinned, vanilla-flavored cookie monster. I always preach to do what makes you happy, but don't start hating yourself even if it is a little nappy. No, I don't know what it's like to walk in your shoes, so don't get me confused. Neither of us had the chance to choose. Stop jumping to conclusions about me and just come, and just come get what might be a flash of news. Now when they look at me, they be like, wow, who knew? Don't hate me because I don't hate you. We have more in common than you think, so please don't let our differences make us sink. I'm asking so I can tell you from one sister to the next that, baby, I'm not a threat. So let's get to it. Yeah. The thing about being in, oh my gosh, I got really close. The thing about being a light-skinned black woman is that a lot of people will put your experience down. Oh my God, am I leaking? My eyes are leaking. Oh, maybe it's the eyelashes, I don't know. But it's like anytime that I would try to express myself and like join into the conversation of how it is to feel and what has happened to me, it always got kind of discredited. Like what I had to say really didn't matter. So it was like at times I'm not gonna lie, it was hard to be like proud of who I was, and it was even more difficult because it's like I had somewhat of an identity crisis at one point in time where I was like really wanting to know where I came from, who I was, where my people come from, you know what I'm saying? And it was really hard to complete the mission, so to speak. But this year I did say that I am going to pick up where I left off and find out that information for myself to feel more at peace, to feel more complete as a person. Like, you know yourself inside and out for the most part, but it's those other special details of like just the mixing of genetics that would help me feel more coherent and stuff. So that is important to me. I didn't write this to offend anybody or anything. It's just that you can't discredit people just because you don't feel like their story is important. When I was younger, I would get bullied and picked on so bad, and yeah, I had friends here and there, but at the end of the day, it was like I used to hang around a lot of, most people are darker than me. Let's just keep it a buck. So it was like I hung out with brown skin and dark skin girls, and it was like all the way up to like my late school years. It was just like they would do things to me, talk about me, smiling in my face, stab me behind my back, all that good stuff. And it made me feel like a disconnect. So it's like when I went to college, I couldn't bring myself to relate to people because of my past. So it was like I would stay to myself a lot. I would stay in my dorm. If I could avoid people, I would, because it was just like, and then I had, I was a little bit heavier, as some of you guys may know, in my college days. So it was just, I was really insecure in it. I just felt like people wouldn't really like me. And the only way to get people to like me is for me to talk to them. Because if they look at me from the outside, they're like, oh, she's mean, she's suck up, she's this, she that, you know what I mean? A lot of people judge me before they get the chance to actually know me, and that makes me feel like, well, maybe you're the one who's not worth getting to know, because you didn't even give me a chance. Like, it's funny because, like, just ask people, especially if you're of a lighter skin tone, like, ask them, like, what was your first impression of me? Like, how did you see me, like, before we talked or something? Like, the things that people say is just like, why would you think that? Like, why would you think that I was just this negative person, or this person who was so self-centered that she felt like she was over everybody? Like, I never really understood that. And I would talk to people, and I'd be like, well, people in my family, and I'm like, they would treat you so weird. And then, like, say if more of the family was come around, it was like, okay, more so if we were by ourselves, it was cool. But as soon as other people came in, it was like, oh yeah, you're the white girl, and it was just like, okay, I see where this is going. Like, it was a lot of times I just didn't feel a part of the community. And now, like today, I just put myself into a space where I'm like, I am proud of who I am. But at the same time, it's like, maybe if I know more, I'll grow to love myself even more. Just to know what's inside, because that's what really matters to me. Like, I hate the terminology that people use when they talk about people of lighter skin. Like, they be like, oh, you're acting light skinned. It's like, and it's crazy because it's like everybody knows what that means. But it's like, have you ever thought about why they act like that, or like what caused that? Like, do y'all ever think about that type of thing, or do y'all just go with the flow of, yeah, or I don't know, because I can't speak from y'all, like, darker people's experiences, like, but I obviously was aware of, yes, y'all did get bullied too. I'm not gonna act like y'all didn't, but it's like, at some point, did you notice that you were becoming the bully as well? I don't know, like, it's crazy. But I just wanted to talk about that, man. I just really want y'all to start loving each other a little bit more. Start being more selective with how you say things to people, especially when you're supposed to be a team. I am grateful for the people that I have in my life and my friends who didn't, turn their back on me just because of how I looked or how they thought I was gonna be. Like, y'all some real ones. Family too. Some of y'all cool. I mess with y'all. But yeah, that's all I really wanted to talk about today. I'm Tyesha, and I promise I won't bite my tongue. I see you guys later. Bye.